Welcome to another very serious report of the BBC News. And today we're going to be going over a very controversial topic in the past coming years, especially with rising prices of airsoft guns. And we're going to answer the question, are you overpaying for your airsoft guns?
We're going to break it down for you today.
Because you probably are.
Don't tell them that.
Oh,
we got to wait till
shoot,
later.
My bad.
Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to BBC News. I will be your anchor tonight, Cisco.
저 이름은 양지성입니다.
What? And this is Boaz. He will be my co-anchor tonight. And we are going to be figuring out if you get the best bang for your buck in airsoft. I know Boaz hates this phrase because we use it so often, but we truly want to know, are you getting the best value in airsoft per your dollar?
So we're going to take these guns, we're going to dissect all the features and the overall quality of the gun. We're going to give it scores, statistics, and attach the price next to it, and we're going to break it down to see how much you're paying in actual dollars per feature for your airsoft gun. And today we're going to be going over 3 what we would call high-end, high-tier airsoft guns, and we're going to use that same metric to give you a score to see how much you're actually getting for your dollar's worth.
So today we are going to be rating these 3 airsoft guns on a formula called the Consumer Price Index, or CPI.
Stonks. It's not just used exclusively in the stock market. There's actually a lot of different hobbies out there that follow a similar type of formula to calculate value. So, for example, there's a lot of baseball card collectors that use this formula, people that collect Magic the Gathering cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I've even seen people in the Lego community when they're collecting Lego sets, they use this formula or similar formula. And for all you 40K nerds out there, if you're a power gamer, you know how to calculate that points to dollar ratio.
Now, we're going to be taking each individual gun and we're going to be rating them in 3 different categories. Each category is going to have a point system where the gun can earn anywhere between 1 point and 5 points. 1 point being the worst, 5 points being the best.
The first category that we're going to be reviewing for each gun is going to be the external build quality. What is the gun made out of? Does it look visually and aesthetically pleasing to the eye? Is it functional? The second category that we're going to be going over is going to be the performance of the gun. Does it shoot good out of the box? Are there good quality internal parts in the gun? Is the parts used in the gun super proprietary? Right? These are all things that we're going to be going over for the internal category. And finally, the features. What does a gun come with out of the box? Is it super bare bones? Are you getting a ton of stuff? Right? So that's pretty much the final category. We're going to take all 3 categories and we're going to add all those scores up to give the gun a total score. Then we're going to divide the price of the gun by its total score, and that should give you the dollar amount that you're spending per feature on your airsoft gun.
So let's get into the first gun. So the first gun that we are going to be taking a look at is going to be the Krytac CRB Mark II. This is going to be our standard that we are going to be comparing the other guns to because it's pretty much the standard of high-end airsoft guns.
Yeah, and the reason why we're saying that, and in reality, actually, the Krytac whole CRB or the entire Trident line of M4 guns is pretty much going to be the standard for any high-end airsoft gun. And the reason why we're saying this is because when the Krytac was first released or brought to the market, it actually revolutionized how all high-end guns come out of the box. So, for example, when the Krytac first came out, it had a lot of really good high-quality internal parts, and they came included with the MOSFET out of the box, which at the time was actually very unheard of because MOSFETs in airsoft was actually a very niche, I would say. Like, it's a very specialized part that not many players kind of knew how to use or even had in their guns at all to begin with. So having a MOSFET included out of the gun was actually mind-blowing, actually. And other things such as including something like a modular rail actually was a really big thing. There were very, very few companies out there that offered things like a key mod rail at the time out of the box. Most of it was you had to get it aftermarket, and especially at the price that it was being offered at, it was basically, it's kind of a no-brainer, I guess you would say, if you wanted a high-end gun. In fact, it was pretty much marketed overall by Krytac saying that you didn't need to do any upgrades at all to the gun because it was already upgraded for you.
Yep. They kind of revolutionized the market and set a new standard for the market in general, which is why we are using the CRB as our standard baseline.
This being the standard for high-end guns is actually a double-edged sword because yes, it is good, but however, our biggest critique on the Krytac is that it has kind of stagnated over the years.
Absolutely.
So the internal guts of the gun hasn't really changed very much or at all. Yeah. So I think Krytac did a really good job of marketing, and they really established a really diehard loyal fan base, which is great. But yeah, so that's just kind of the reality of it. So yes, this is a standard, but also because it's a standard, it hasn't really changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going to put it through our criteria and see where it ranks on the CPI scale meter. Starting off with the externals, we do have a beautiful build from Krytac. Honestly, so much so that other companies kind of have to follow suit. You do get a nice billet style lower receiver in the Mark II with the trigger guard integrated into the receiver instead of it being a separate piece. On top of that, you do get the trademarks, the Krytac logo on the left side of the gun, and then just the manufacturing trademarks on the other side. But for the selector, you do get a nice icon style of markings instead of the traditional safe, semi, and auto, so which just adds a little bit more flair to it. On top of that, you do get the key mod rail. It's dated, but it's there, and you do have the CRB in different finishes as well. They have the flat dark earth, the all black. I believe they have wolf gray as well. So you have different options, which is very nice. But you also get externally the flip up iron sights, which are Chris trademarked. I actually do believe,
fancy.
Talking with Krytac a while ago, they said that these are the real iron sights that they have on it.
Shoot.
Yeah, so that's pretty damn nice. I'll give them a point for that. And then of course you get the iconic Trident furniture, being the pistol grip and the stock. Let's be real, if you see this stock on any other airsoft gun, it's the Krytac stock. You know exactly what it is, especially with this rail system too. You know it's going to be a Krytac. So overall, I do think the finish and build is very nice. It's very iconic. So I will give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and honestly, like what Cisco mentioned earlier, everything that you see here externally, like this is the hallmark of a high quality airsoft gun, high-end airsoft gun, right? So other companies, I can't really confirm it, but it's pretty obvious. Other companies, they looked at the Krytac and like, okay, we need to match the style.
We need to step our game up.
Yep.
And they did.
Yeah, 4 to 5. Next up, we're going to talk about the performance. Again, like we said, this is the standard for high-end guns. So the internal quality parts are actually very high quality. So it does rock the standard gear set just because it increases the longevity and the reliability of the gun. There's just no way around it. Right? The standard gear set is the most stable for long-term usage. The compression set is very good. It does hold a pretty damn good seal on the gun, allowing the gun to easily shoot comfortably to the high 390s to the 400 FPS mark, which is what you want to see. On top of that, it does come with a 30K motor internally, so it is very good with the rate of fire. It has a pretty high rate of fire, and the trigger response is not too shabby. Not the best, but it is pretty damn good. Again, it's more focused on rate of fire.
Yep.
But one of the best things I think about the Krytac is going to be the bucking in the gun.
Yeah.
Because that is going to determine how accurate the gun will be at longer distances. So I believe the barrel on the gun is actually not a Type 4 barrel. I believe it is a standard bore barrel, which, you know, is not necessarily bad. It's still a good, well-designed barrel. But the bucking here is gonna have like this V-shaped kind of not cut out, but like the teeth, not the teeth on bucking, the nub on the bucking. It
helps line up the BB, like when it's rolling through it.
It gives more surface area to the BB, allowing for more consistent backspin, which does increase the contact points on the BB, which again, longer range accuracy. So overall, I would give the performance, again, even though it has a lot of great things going for it, I would give it a 3 out of 5 because, again, the standard, right?
Yeah.
This is what every high-end gun should come with out of the box. No questions asked.
Absolutely. And again, we talked about the MOSFET a little bit earlier. It is a basic MOSFET that will help regulate electricity flow, but it isn't programmable, which a lot of airsoft guns are coming with out of the box. So it's basic. So 3, I would agree with as well. Now, finally, we are going to be talking about the features. What does the Krytac CRB Mark II come with? Well, first off, I do have to bring up the elephant in the room. Out of the box, there was a warning label for the CRB that said that this gun was optimized to perform with a 9.6 volt or 7.4 volt battery, which was strange.
Very sus.
Yeah, very, very suspicious.
I do not ever remember seeing that sticker on a Krytac box before.
I didn't get it in my original Mark I. But that's very interesting because with a high-end airsoft gun, I do expect it to be able to take at least an 11.1 LiPo. I think that's a standard for all high-end airsoft guns. So I don't know if something changed electronically with the MOSFET or other parts, but that is very suspicious for me. So I'm going to have to mark a point for that. But other features that the Mark II CRB comes with are going to be the 150 round mid-cap magazine, which I have heard works pretty damn well.
It is of their own design. It looks aight.
It looks good.
Looks like a nice little BB window, which is cool. Looks aight. Looks aight. Yeah. It does also come with real steel iron sights, like Cisco mentioned. So these are polymer sights made by Krytac's parent company, Chris USA. Yep. Which, again, they claim that these are the real steel iron sights, which is freaking sick.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And it does come with a battery adapter because this gun is coming out of the box with the Dean's connector.
Very nice.
So good for you. That is really good to see that you're modernizing, especially in the high-end airsoft gun world, right? But if you're an old head, you have a Tamiya battery, they got you covered. It's good to see. And again, the key mod rail, man, like it is. I don't know why they still make them.
Honestly, same.
Yeah, like M-Lock is so standardized now in the real gun world and in airsoft, but there are still a few companies that just, I don't know why, they just keep making key mod stuff, which is weird.
Outdated.
Yeah, outdated, very dated. But, you know, I think this is very necessary that Krytac is doing. They do give you a single piece of key mod to Picatinny rail adapter because who makes direct-to-key mod accessories anymore?
I mean, they're available. You can find them.
Yeah.
I mean,
why?
You offer an M-Lock version of the Trident series. Yeah, just keep it M-Lock. What are you doing?
Yeah. Also, I don't know why you charge more for that. It's very
no. Yeah,
weird.
that's another thing too. It's like $10-15 more for the M-Lock version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very suspicious. So I would have to mark it a point for that.
Yeah.
But I would say it is pretty loaded out of the box. So I think a standard 3 out of 5 would be good.
Yeah. I would 100% agree. It's just like there's nothing. I wouldn't say like there's anything super special about it, but they do cover all their bases. They do give you everything that you need. Like they even considered that you might not even have a Dean's battery, which is good to see. They even considered that you might not even have key mod accessories, so they give you this guy. You know, so like what Cisco said, the weird thing about the MOSFET, and the key mod, I think that's really what's keeping it from giving it a 5 out of 5.
Now to total up the scores, we have a total of 4 points for the externals, 3 points for the performance, and 3 points for the features. So that gives us a total of 10 points in total. But we are going to take that 10 points and divide the price by it, which it retails for $369 at airsoftchat.com. And Boaz, what does that get? Quick maths.
So $369 divided by 10 is going to give you $36.90. So basically almost $37 per feature that you're going to get with this airsoft gun. So again, like we said before, if this is going to be the standard, that's probably how much you should be looking at spending per feature if you're on the market for a high-end airsoft gun.
I agree.
Okay, let's move on to the next gun and see what we get.
The second gun that we are going to be looking at is going to be the Zion Arms R15 M4 AEG. Now, starting off with the externals, Zion Arms, I think, knocked it out of the park. It is a breath of fresh air. It just looks so nice. Their billet-style receiver is very tastefully designed, and I'm just tired of the standard M4 look. You know what I'm saying? And Zion Arms just did it right, okay? And you get all of the benefits of the M4 platform, okay? You get the adjustability that you want, the ergonomics that you want. I gotta talk about this finish though, because I have been talking about it. It is nice. It has a matte finish on there, so there isn't any gloss. Whether you get the all black version or the gray receiver version, you're gonna get that same quality finish. And the Zion Arms R15 does come with the R&D Precision M-Lock rail for whatever accessories that you want to mount to it. It's very tastefully done. I mean, I think M-Lock is the standard nowadays, and it's what every airsoft company should strive for. But it is very lightweight at the same time, so it doesn't add any bulk to the airsoft gun. You do get the monolithic upper rail for whatever accessories you want, standard 14mm clockwise threadings, counterclockwise threadings, and you do get the ergonomic pistol grip for comfort and the Delta stock, which looks nice, very familiar, but you know, 6 position standard. It's just a little cherry on top, okay? But you also get the nice flat trigger, okay? I'm liking that Airsoft guns are coming out with a flat trigger out of the box. Again, looking more modernized, bringing it up to 2023. Let's go. I think the Zion Arms gets a solid 4 out of 5 points. In terms of performance, the Zion Arms R15 is pretty good, okay? You get a very snappy trigger response with the 19K motor and the 1801 gear set, but it is a little bit lackluster in the rate of fire department. But you do make up for it with that trigger response. Again, most fields, semi-auto only, so don't worry about the rate of fire. You do get a very good accuracy as well with that 6.03 inner barrel, but that gets into the features that we'll talk about later, okay? Because the rate of fire is a little bit dumbed down, but the trigger response is nice, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Now, moving on to the features. This is where the Zion Arms R15 shines, okay? Right out of the box, you are getting the nice black block muzzle brake, okay? Because the future is now, old man. On top of that, you get the 6.03 inner barrel that I mentioned earlier that will increase your accuracy, the rotary style hop-up unit, the quick change spring system, and the cherry on top, the Zion Arms Nebula MOSFET. This has to be like the most advanced MOSFET that comes out of the box in an airsoft gun. I'm talking programmability, okay? Semi-auto only, 2-round burst, 3-round burst, 4-round, 5-round burst. You can even set it to binary mode where you pull the trigger and it fires, and when you release the trigger, it fires. I don't know any other airsoft gun that can do that. I'm just saying the Zion Arms R15 is loaded out of the box, but I gotta knock it a point because where the hell are the iron sights, Zion Arms, huh? Where are they? Not in the box, not included with the gun, so I have to give the R15 4 out of 5 points. With all of those points being added up, we gave 4 points for externals, 3 points for performance, and 4 points for features. That totals up to 11 points. Now, the retail cost of the Zion Arms R15 is currently $325. So we take that $325 divided by 11, and that brings us to $29.55. That's the lowest on the list thus far. I mean, this is only the second gun, but I gotta say that's pretty damn good, especially with all of those features. But next gun.
Final gun, you know what time it is. It is KWA time to take the cake home, baby. Today we're gonna look at the KWA Ronin T10 M4. As per usual, the first thing we're gonna go over are going to be the external features of the gun. Now, before I get into it, I have a question to ask you. Have you ever held a KWA metal gun in your hands? Huh? Have you? It is an experience. It is so rock solid. Like, I'm trying to like bend this thing in my hands and it won't budge because it's so freaking solid. I've abused all my KWA guns to hell and back, and it came out the other side smiling. It's just that KWA quality, baby. On here on the front end, we have a very nice, originally designed KWA Ronin T10 rail. It is M-LOK on the sides, Picatinny on the top. Now, one thing though, KWA, I just kind of wish you did a little snippy snip on the front. This little snaggletooth action happening here. I'm not sure really if it's a vibe anymore. Just saying. At the very tip, we have a tastefully anodized muzzle brake instead of a plastic cheap flash hider that a lot of airsoft guns come with. KWA went the extra step, gave you a metal muzzle brake, and they anodized it in this nice tasteful dark orange. It actually doesn't look too bad on the gun, so I will give you kudos for that. Moving back towards the main body of the gun, it is that solid KWA metal receiver. Again, there's no receiver wobble at all. It is just one solid piece of metal, it feels like, in the hands, and it's just, again, absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you zoom out, you get the standard polymer accessories, which I'm gonna get into later, but overall, I will say, aside from the rail, it is a pretty standard, plain Jane looking gun. If it wasn't for the actual build quality of the gun, I would have given it a 3, but because of, again, how well put together the gun is, I will give it a 4 out of 5. Internally, the Ronin T10 performs similarly to how the gun is built externally. Not super fancy with a ton of bells and whistles, but it is rock solid in the interior, okay? This gun is made in Taiwan, all right? Like, some of the best airsoft guns are made in Taiwan. Well, I mean, I guess Japan makes the best, but okay, no one beats Japan. But anyway, okay, we're using, I guess you would say, a modified version 2 gearbox because it's using an electric recoil system. Now, that being said, KWA has given us a very high strength set of 18-to-1 gears, a very well-tuned compression set out of the box, and let me tell you, the bucking inside the KWA guns, I don't know what it is, I don't know what they do, but there's some really high quality buckings to give you some really good long range accuracy. On top of that, we are using KWA's high torque motor, and they do give you a space, again, not that it needs it, not that I recommend that you do this, but they do give you a space to install an aftermarket MOSFET if that's something that you want. In fact, even though that this is technically considered a very proprietary system because of the recoil thing going on, surprisingly, this gun can take a surprising amount of aftermarket upgrades, which I think KWA has taken really good steps forward to kind of opening up their ecosystem to the aftermarket. Now, on top of that, just to show you the quality of the internal features on this gun, is that they advertise that these guns, even though it doesn't have a MOSFET installed in the gun, they say that you can actually safely run an 11.1 volt LiPo battery out of the box with no issues, which is unheard of. Again, the quality, rock solid quality. So for that, I will give it a 3 out of 5. Let's go over some of the goodies that you get with the T10 Ronin. Let me tell you, it is an absolute treasure trove of features, okay? So, kind of bleeding in from the internal specs a little bit, the gun does come with a rotary style hop-up unit, which is something that you would want to see for a high-end gun such as this T10 Ronin, which is great. And they do give you a 6.05 millimeter inner barrel, which is a little rare. You don't see a lot of companies release inner barrel with that diameter nowadays, but I will say I can attest firsthand that these barrels are quality made, and they, again, it helps to the long range accuracy of these guns, especially paired with their in-house bucking. Now, other than that, the biggest elephant in the room, the electric recoil system. I mean, damn, is it fun, especially for someone who primaries with the gas blowback rifle. Having something like this is such a great alternative, especially if I'm playing in cold weather, or if my gas blowback gun is just having any weird issues or gremlins inside of it. Having this guy on the field with me is always such a blast, because I can get the similar experience of having recoil while shooting without having to worry about, you know, the long-term functionality of a gas blowback rifle, which is fantastic to see. Although, KWA, where is the bolt cutoff feature? I want it back. Please give it to me back. I might have to ding a point for that, just saying. But aside from the recoil, the furniture. Okay, it is littered. It is adorned, if you will, with PTS furniture, which just gives you a lot of value out of the box. I'm talking the iron sights or the polymer sights. These are the PTS enhanced polymer sights. Again, there's a $40 to $50 value that you're just gonna get for buying the gun. You're getting the enhanced polymer stock with a ton of battery space. Again, $40 to $50 value that they're just giving to you. And on top of that, they give you the very nice compact enhanced polymer pistol grip, which is actually one of my favorites, especially for AEG guns. And so with all that being said, I would like to give it a 5 out of 5, but Cisco's gonna yell at me, so I will dock a point, KWA, for not including the magazine cutoff feature like you used to on your old guns. So I will give this a very comfortable 4 out of 5. Externally, the T10 Ronin scores at a solid 4, the performance scores at a 3, and the features score a 4 out of 5. So if we add up the scores for a total score, you're going to get 11 points. We're going to divide it by the price. The KWA Ronin T10 retails for $430 at Airsoft GI. So if you divide 430 by 11, it should roughly give you $39.09 per feature for this Airsoft gun. Oh man, that's actually a lot of money per feature. I thought this was going to be good value, but you can't put a price on electric recoil. You can't change my mind. You can't change my mind about that.
All right, guys, after all the testing has been said and done, yeah, that's pretty much how I'd probably categorize everything. The R15 coming in first place, I just got to say, it doesn't surprise me. At $320 and all the features that you get out of the box, Boaz hates the phrase, but I do believe it is the best bang for your buck for high-end guns. But I'm actually surprised that KWA came in third place, because I think it's pretty loaded out of the box.
Well, it goes to show you can't put a price on KWA's Gucci electric recoil magic.
There it is, yeah. Well, KWA can at $430.
Well, might I remind you that the other electric recoil options out there, like Tokyo Marui with their NGRS system, extortionary. Okay, yeah, LCT and their limited run of recoil guns, again, they're robbing you.
That's fair. What is the average cost per dollar that you would be spending on a high-end airsoft gun like this, Boaz?
So from our data set, anywhere between the 300s into the lower end 400 tier of airsoft gun, the mathematical average for all three options looking like you're spending around $35 per feature of airsoft gun. So that's pretty much what we would consider how much you should be spending per feature if you're looking at a higher end option like this. If you guys are gonna do the math at home, if you guys are looking at a gun similarly priced and you run the same formula, that's kind of what we recommend. You probably should spend somewhere around the $35 mark per feature. If you are going to be spending more, you may want to reconsider, or maybe you just really want that electric recoil goodness.
All right, guys, let us know in the comments below what you think about the test we did on each gun, and let us know if there are other guns that you want us to run the CPI curriculum through. Put your favorite airsoft gun in the comments below. But other than that, my name is Cisco.
And Boaz.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.